Welcome back. It is Cheap-O Multimeter review time, and boy do I have something special for you guys today. This is one heck of a Cheap-O Multimeter with a ton of surprises up its sleeve. Stay tuned, the fun has just begun. The HABOTEST HT118A is in the spotlight today, and wow, this is something truly unique. This one has a lot of sizzle, and you know what they say, sail is in the sizzle. I subscribe to that 100%. And speaking of sizzle, wait till you see the different features that this meter has. It is truly thinking out of the box. Speaking of box, that's exactly what it comes in. Rather okay looking, generic, cheapo cardboard box. In that box, you get your Pi cell, 1.5 volt AA batteries, your thermocouple, and you also get these great leads. Now these are my kind of leads. They're something nice. They're longer than the average set of test probes. I'd say probably by about a good inch or so. They have that really nice safety shroud at the end. So let's call it a finger guard rather. And pointy, yes, but you know, just generally speaking, I'm really liking the way they feel in the hand. It's almost like a pen, as you can see. So fantastic set of probes that ship with the HABOTEST. Let's talk about size for a moment here. As you can see, the HABOTEST HT118A is definitely on the larger side. I like it. Here we have a Richmeters 404B, quite a small meter. Now this is the Apex 8103 that I just reviewed, and as you can see, really diminutive in size in comparison to the 118. And on the right, of course, we have that ever so wonderful Unity, the 191T, another great multimeter, and it is just probably be about a ½ an inch smaller than the HABOTEST. So yeah, generally speaking, it is a good size meter. I'm not going to say it's a large meter, but it's definitely larger than your average cheapo style that we're seeing come out of the market today. Taking a closer look at the selector switch here, starting off in the left position, a 9 o'clock position, it is the basic off, followed by voltage, AC or DC, and frequency. Millivolts, AC, DC, and frequency. Frequency and duty cycle. Resistance, continuity, and diode. Capacitance. Temperature in both Celsius and Fahrenheit with a dual display. Microamps AC, DC with frequency. Milliamps AC, DC with frequency. High current amps with frequency in both AC, DC. Finally, non-contact voltage and live detect. At the top of the meter, you can see we have 4 select buttons. We have our basic function button, which can help in terms of selecting finite ranges. We have our hold, max min, as well as the backlight and a flashlight. HABOTEST feels great in the hands. It's got a really nice heftiness to it. It's not super heavy, but it's definitely heavy enough. Has a nice feel. It's definitely not going to get lost or fall out of your hands because it doesn't weigh anything. No, this meter feels good. And it has a really decent standing baler. Tilt stand, solid. I mean, you turn the unit on for the first time. Bada boom, bada bing, bada bang. It goes right away into AC volts. It does not default to DC, it does default to AC volts. Now that being said, what do you notice? Yeah, ultra nice. A dual display. So right away we've got frequency and we have the actual voltage. To get over to DC volts, hit the function once and away you go. And speaking of selector switches, wow, this one has a very nice solid feel. It will not get stuck in between ranges. Yes, it does beep, but it's not a super loud audible beep, so it doesn't really get to be annoying. Has a nice clickety click, clackety clack. I like it. When you turn the HABOTEST on for the first time, yes, illumination. Your jack input LEDs are there to guide you. So if you're a new user or perhaps a seasoned bro vet, you know what? It's nice to have that indicator because sometimes when it gets fast and furious and you're doing 10 things at once, you can easily make a mistake with that input jack. Changing ranges, what have you. At least here, you do have that visual indicator letting you know where the jack should be inserted. This mimics some of the Maztecs out there that have the same feature. Not many meters do have this illuminated jack input display, but I think it is a great feature. Alrighty, so let's take a look at the displays now. On the left, obviously, the HABOTEST. On the right, the Unity UT191T. And as you can tell, it is quite a different looking display. On the left here, we have the dual display. And the digits themselves, the font is kind of chunky, but not very tall or elongated. Whereas on the Unity, it's much thinner and taller. What's your preference? Honestly, I think, you know, the 191T is a great display, but I do like what I see with the HABOTEST. It just seems to be, I don't know, just a little bit more, oh boy, what is the word I'm looking for? Just better. Perhaps a little bit crisper, perhaps just a little easier to read. Taking a look at the bar graph displays, overall slightly more contrast and crispness with the HABOTEST. Nothing wrong with the Unity 191T's bar graph at all. I just find the HABOTEST just slightly easier on the eyes. Same sort of incrementation, 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30. But yeah, slightly better, at least to me, in terms of the overall look. Let me know what you think. Precision voltage test, we want to see 250 millivolts. Very close. It's been fluttering back and forth between 249 and 250. We want to see 2.50 volts, and spot on. It is voltage comparison time. I've got the Unity UT191T out for comparison test. And these are both 6,000 count multimeters. Here we go. Starting off at 3.3 volts, 3.35 for the UT191T, 3.36 for the 118A. In fact, now they're pretty well spot on neck in neck. Here we go, taking it up. We're going to go up to 10 volts even. 10.13 for the 191T, 10.12 for the 118A. Wow, very, very close. Up, up, and away we go, up to a whopping 18.5 volts. 18.60 for the Unity, 18.60 neck in neck for the HABOTEST. Up to 25.7 volts. 25.78 for the 191T, 25.77. Oh, they are so close for the 118. We're going to max it out now at 31.7 volts. 31.76 for the Unity, 31.75 for the HABOTEST. So as you can see, spot on. They are both definitely in the zone. Now on the left here, the Unity, you can see it's over 30 volts, so you do have this high voltage indicator that comes up. No high voltage indicator yet on the HABOTEST. Now that is because for the HABOTEST, high voltage indicator is activated at 80 volts. 80 volts AC or DC, you will get a high voltage indicator, as you will see shortly. Now let's take a look at that bar graph, and I'm just going to cycle up and down through the ranges here. Let's see if we can see if one is faster than the other. So cycling through the ranges, you know, it is really, I think, too close to call. They seem to be pretty well neck in neck. Oh boy. It is really close to call. Oh, I don't know if I even want to call it. You know, I would give it maybe a hair's length to the HABOTEST, but it is super close. Next up is milliamps. As you can see, we are already milliamp mode, and we're sitting at 250 milliamps. Remember, this has a 600 milliamp rating. So here we go. Let's take it up a notch. Up and away, 290 milliamps, no worries here. And 380 milliamps, looking good. 400, 450, 500, nice and fast. And we have that nice bar graph display as well. Going up and away, 600. And you can see we're now getting that audible alarm letting us know that we are at that 600 milliamp threshold. Take it up just a little bit higher, and we are over limit. Bring it back down, and we are good to go, and no more audible alarms. So really nice getting that audible indicator alert letting us know that, yeah, we are over the threshold. Next up is resistance. The 118A has a maximum of 60 mega ohms. Here we go. 22 mega ohm resistor, nice and fast. 0.5 ohm. It's thinking. Is it going to settle? And there we go. Looking good. LEDs are next. Can it light them all and give us that forward voltage drop? Here we go. Without further ado, yes, ever so lightly, it is being illuminated, the green LED, and there's our forward voltage drop. Yellow, no worries there. Looking good. Get the probes around the red. Hey, 3 for 3. Let's try the blue. Nice and bright. Will we do a 5 for 5? And yeah, no worries. Easy breezy. Beautiful cover HABOTEST. What am I trying to say? All right, looks good. 5 for 5. Thank goodness. A lot of LED goodness here. I'm liking it. Good stuff. Next up is continuity. Put it into continuity mode. Now you can see we have that indicator down here saying, put your probe over there. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. Now the illuminated jack input only lights up for about 4 or 5 seconds. It does not stay lit, so here we go. Continuity, starting off with the default probes. Hey, not bad at all. Now, if that continuity sits, you can see we have the visual indicator at the top as well as the audible. Unfortunately, that visual indicator does not illuminate when we're doing a really quick reading like that. It has to settle for a while before it lights up. Would have been nice to see that light coming up quicker. Let's try the Probe Master. Next up, the Probe Masters in 3D. Just kidding. Okay, here we go. Yeah, no worries there. And that light does take a while before it lights up. Really, I'd say pretty well on par with the stock probes. .73.5 dBA's maximum loudness in continuity. Things just keep getting better with the HABOTEST. Look at that. Dual temperature control. No thermocouple needed if you just want to measure the ambient temperature. 63 Fahrenheit, 17 Celsius. Good stuff. Capacitance is next. This has a whopping 100 millifarad, 100,000 microfarad capacitance. Let's cut out the middleman and go right to the big boy. Here we go. It is thinking. We're in millifarad range now. 99.34, nice and fast. Hey, excellent, no worries there. Let's try out that backlight once again. Nice and bright, really crisp. Very, very, very nice looking backlight. Wow, doesn't get any better than that. Now the only thing is it turns off after about 20 seconds. Oh, why? That being said, it does look really, really nice, super crisp. In fact, I'd have to say, this is probably one of the best looking displays I have seen on any meter, cheap or expensive, in quite some time. The hold feature is nothing fancy, it is just your basic touch hold. Too bad. Now when I said this does also have a high voltage indicator, I wasn't kidding. Yes, that's right. This thing has its own unique way of telling you when it thinks you're in the danger zone. No, I said the danger zone, not the ranger zone. Without further ado, here we go. I will put the probes into the 120 volt AC outlet and let's see what happens. You got it. Bada boom, bada bing, bada bang. You are in high voltage territory. So when you have this orange display, you know that you are playing with some high voltages. Now I can turn out the light here as well, and yeah, it's very crisp, very very luminescent. Once again, very nice, very unique, and I gotta say it really is a great way of letting you know that you're now in high voltage territory. Good stuff. I love it. Now this meter didn't cost me $100, didn't cost me $60. This cost me $36 Canadian. Definitely in the cheapo realm. That's about, $29, $30 US. I am impressed. Next up, it's live mode. And what does live mean? Well, it means it's not dead. No. It is a play on the same of NCV or non-contact voltage. It is trying to probe a circuit. You put your red test lead into the positive probe. Make sure you're in NCV or live mode, and you can start probing. Once it finds that you have found an energy source, you will get that indicator audible as well as visual. Now it has found high power circuit, so it is now red, and we're getting that high live indicator. Okay, that's it. That's a cut. Give me my probe back. Give me my probe back. Give it back. HABOTEST also comes with a flashlight. That is right. You can use this flashlight in any mode. It does not matter. Once the meter's on, turn on the flashlight and it will stay on until you turn it off. The other nice thing as well is that unlike some other cheapo multimeters, when you do turn on the flashlight, the backlight does not also illuminate. Good stuff. Now we are in high voltage mode. We are going to see what sort of audible as well as visual indicator we get with the HABOTEST. I'm going to try and put it out to about 1000 volts DC. Here we go. So there is our high voltage indicator warning, audible as well as the visual. Bring it back down. Try it again, and yes, so we're getting that nice audible, loud beeping sound as well as the visual indicator. So good stuff, HABOTEST. And it took that 1000 volts without any issues. I am very impressed thus far with this meter. For a cheapo multimeter, there is an incredible sense of value, performance, and bang for buck. I think it's time we open this baby apart and see what's on the inside. With the one Phillips removed, you just simply pop off the top, and as you can see, there are your two AA batteries, and we have a nice threaded insert for the battery terminal. Now, one big disappointment, darn it, is you do not have fuse access. Neither the milliamp or the high current range is easily accessible, so if you do blow a fuse, you're going to have to take it completely apart. Alrighty, we have the 4 screws out, and there we go. Take a look at the inside. Darn, no shielding. So at a quick glance, that is the inside of the HABOTEST. Nice and clean. Starting at the bottom with those input jacks, you can see we do have that nice solid steel sheath on the top. So it is not the thin type you see in a lot of the cheapos. No, they've definitely taken up a notch, and it is a thicker variety. It is still split, but once again, not to worry, because there are standouts on the other side of the chassis that are going to keep that nice and rigid when you're putting the jacks in place. So looking good from an input jack perspective as well. The soldering looks top notch, no worries there. Let's take a look at the input protection now, starting off with the voltage input. Here we have 2 PTCs for the input protection on the voltage side. On the milliamp side, we have a diode clamp as well as that 600 milliamp fuse. Finally, on the high current side of things, we have, instead of a standard current shunt, they've replaced it with a current sensing resistor. And that does the exact same thing as a regular current shunt. Obviously frees up a lot of PCB as well. Also, we have that 10 amp ceramic fuse on the high current side. Taking a look at the upper part of the multimeter, here is the comped IC. Now, what do we have here? Is that IC a mystery? Or, take a close look at that. That is the EEPROM, that is the T24C02A. And that's right, it's a 2 KB IEEPROM. It stores all the config data for this microcontroller, which is, in this case, because of that, the EEPROM, it is probably the DreamTech International DTM0660. I see a lot these days. It's powerful, it's fast, and it must be On top, we got our tin can, aka oscillator. Finally, over here at the top left, we have our LCD controller driver. That's the Holtec HT16C22. I believe the operating voltage is around 2.5 to 5.5 volts. Has a 32 kilohertz RC oscillator built inside. Internal buffering. I think the frequencies are 80 hertz or 160 hertz. It's a powerful little control driver. So that is what is feeding all that gorgeous LCD display. Here's the filament detector for the non-contact voltage. Nice and big, nice and thick. Definitely going to do a lot better in terms of sensitivity than one of these measly little PCB wires that are built into the PCB assembly. Much better. And nice soldering as well. Over here we have the LED for the flashlight, and finally the speaker. Finally, we can see the version HT118A version 1.2. Now we are in 2019 right now, so that is definitely not December 2019, but it might be January 2nd, 2019, what have you, but version 1.2. Okay, I'm going to put this, yes, that's what I said, I'm going to put everything back together and come back with closing thoughts on the HABOTEST HT118A. You know I like it. No, you know I love it. This is one powerhouse of a cheapo multimeter. Definitely one of the best cheapos I have seen thus far. Remember, I paid only around $37 Canadian for this, so it is truly a cheapo multimeter. Now, once again, that doesn't mean you're not going to get bang for buck. You get incredible bang for buck. You get a great set of ranges. And remember, this is auto-ranging. Auto-ranging goodness here. You have a powerful, powerful feature set. You have some really nice niche new features, such as that visual display that pops up in a nice glowing hue that lets you know when you're in the high voltage realm. As well, you have that wonderful input LED jack indicators to let you know where those probes are supposed to go. Whether you're a novice or a pro, it's always nice to have a little helping hand. This is one great meter. Truthfully, I'm having a hard time nitpicking anything bad about it. You also have that gorgeous dual display. You have the ambient temperature reading, so no thermal probe attachment required if you're just measuring ambient temperature. The list is endless. If I'm going to nitpick, let's say that backlight, as gorgeous as it is, too bad it can't stay on until the end user decides to turn it off. That being said, there's not a lot wrong with this meter, but a whole lot right. The HABOTEST HT118A, one of my best cheapos thus far, gets a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is a celebration in the cheapo realm. This is one great meter. Keep those comments coming. I love the feedback. Good or bad, it's all good to me. Till the next time, keep on testing.